Well, here we go trying to beat Pokemon Ultra Moon using the worst team possible. Now, I did make 2 videos already doing this with Pokemon Emerald and Pokemon Soul Silver. If you guys have not checked that out, a link is in the description down below. Now, there were so many Pokemon to choose from, but I ended up choosing these 7 Pokemon. And the reason I chose 7 was because Shionic only appears during the night, and I wasn't sure if I was able to get him or not. Now, these are the rules for this run. Most of them do stay the same, but I had to change it just a little bit because I am scared this team is absolutely terrible. Now, before we hop into it, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, like this video for further Pokemon content, and join the Discord, guys. We are a growing community every single day, and it'll be fun to talk to you guys there as well. But with that all out of the way, guys, let's get into it. Man, I still don't know why I do this to myself. But here we go, we start our journey in Alola. Now this time I did not change the starters, so we're starting off with Litten. Now I know we can't use them, but I'll have to wait to put them in a PC till later. Now we get our Pokeballs early on and catch ourselves our first Pokemon to add to the official worst team. And that is Yungoos. And we call him Trump. For those that don't know why, just wait and see. Now honestly, while playing it through this game, I realized it has a lot of filler, so I had to trim down a lot of the clips and a lot of the battles to not give you guys like an hour-and-a-half long video. So our first official Pokemon battle, we battled Hau. Now I was unable to put Litten into a PC before the battle, so sadly I had to use him. Either way, I tried to use Yungoos as much as I could, and in the end we beat Hau. Now with Litten finally being able to be put into a PC, Yungoos is the only Pokemon I'm allowed to use until I catch the others. And having Yungoos as the only Pokemon I could use was not an easy task. He is not that powerful, nor can he take a lot of hits. So we were losing a lot of battles in the beginning. Now, especially in the beginning when I have to do that whole school fight against the principal, this is when it got very difficult, because this Popplio was very hard to beat. Now, it took me a couple of tries and a couple different strategies to do it, but in the end, I finally was able to beat her. Now, I thought that battle was hard. This battle against Captain Lima was so difficult. Now, since I was only allowed to use Yungoos because every other Pokemon I need is out of this area, I only had 1 Pokemon to use. And he had his Yungoos and Smeargle, so I had to find a strategy that could beat both. And that was no easy task. It took me a couple of tries to do this. But in the end, we finally beat Captain Lima after so many attempts. Now it was time for the trial. I tried doing this just with Yungoos, but it felt just impossible to beat. Shortly after losing, I found Crabrawler in the berries near the forest. So I was lucky enough to catch him and add him to my team. Now I couldn't think of a name for him, so I just went with the most basic name, Rocky. And well, having him on the team made such a great impact because I was able to beat the trial. Now down the road in our adventure, we finally get our next member to add to the team, the yellow Oricorio. Now Oricorio is a terrible Pokemon, so hopefully it does some good on this team. And we name this little bird Chi-Chi. I don't know why, but I feel like it works. Now, even with 3 Pokemon on the team, we were not guaranteed an easy route. Because right after, we had to battle this Furfrou from these Ultra Space people, and we ended up losing. Honestly, I feel like this is going to be the worst team I've ever had to use. Now, after finally beating this Furfrou and easily getting past Hau right after this battle, we now have to start our grand trial battle. Now with Crabrawler and Yungoos being absolutely useless in this battle, it is all up to Chi-Chi the Oricorio. And well, this bird did an absolutely amazing job taking out Machop, Makuhita, and Crabrawler to finally beat this guy and get Titanium Z. Now down the line in our adventure, we battle Hao one more time and we beat him with no problem at all. On top of that, we also meet Gladion and take him out as well. Right after that, our main Pokemon Yongoose evolves into Big Man himself, Gumshoos. Now you understand why I call him Trump. Now what I've been noticing in the big trial battles with this team is that Gumshoos and Crabrawler are absolutely useless. And Oricorio can withstand quite a bit and hit pretty hard. Now we were so close to beating this trial, but in the end we did lose. Now for the second time around, I came back with a different strategy and ended up beating it. Now it was time to go out and make some new friends. So we went out and found ourselves a Puku Mewtwo and an Alolan Diglett. I called Puku Mewtwo Spud and Alolan Diglett Rick. With those two guys now added to the team, it is now time to start the next trial. We are now here on top of the volcano to beat up an Alolan Marowak. Now, not realizing that Puku Mewtwo can learn literally no water moves or learn any actual physical moves, this made it 10 times harder. Marowak was just way too fast, and on top of that, Salazzle came in and hit 10 times harder. This so far was going to be one of the hardest trial battles I faced. Now I did end up losing this battle a couple of times. It did not feel impossible, I just need to find the right strategy to use. And again, Oricorio had to come in and save the day because he ended up taking down Salazzle and Marowak at the same time. Who knew this little pom-pom bird can do so much damage and help me out so much? Next up was to do Mallow's Grass Trial. Now this trial was probably the easiest one, as of course I have Oricorio that did a lot of the heavy lifting. And in the end, Crabrawler got the finishing blow on Kecleon and we finished this trial with ease. Now I felt it was a time to add a new Pokemon to the team, so I found and caught ourselves a Fomantis. Now I'm just using him until I can find a Morelu because he only comes out during the night. So Fomantis is just a backup, weaker Pokemon that I'll use until I can get him. Finally, after a lot of battling, Alolan Diglett is ready to evolve. And comes in the beautiful haired Alolan Dugtrio. Hopefully this guy can help us win some more Pokemon battles. Now even though I did end up getting a fully evolved Alolan Dugtrio and some new Pokemon to add to this team, we still ended up losing it to Olivia and her Lycanroc. So there were still long ways to go. Now I did come back to beat her, but I've realized this team is still terrible and needs a lot of love and care. Next, we beat up an Ultra Beast and beat Hao once again to make our way towards Mount Hukalani. There we have to fight our next trial boss, a giant Togedemaru. Honestly, this battle was really easy because Alolan Dugtrio had the upper hand. Then we just used Oricorio to finish off Skarmory and we got ourselves the next Z Crystal. As we journey onwards, we make our way towards our next trial. Here we encounter another difficult totem Pokemon, the Ghost and Fairy type Pokemon Mimikyu. Not only is he super fast, but he can hit really hard. I actually lost this battle about 3 times, so I had to find a strategy to finally take this guy down. So at one point I realized it was nighttime in the game and I went back to catch a Morelu. And for some reason having this guy on the team was a lot of good luck because we finally took down a Mimikyu and a Banette to get ourselves the next Z Crystal. And right away, Morelu, aka Fred, evolves right after this battle, which really is going to help the team out a lot. Now, of course, I spoke too soon because when it came to the grand trial, this guy was absolutely insane. My Pokemon were not standing any chance against his dark type team. Again, this took me quite a lot of tries to do, but in the end, we were finally able to beat this guy. Now, once that grand trial was done, we made our way into the Aether Foundation where Guzma was waiting for us. And I don't know how, but for some reason he got 10 times better because we ended up losing to him twice. But of course, with a good strategy, we finally were able to take him down as well as the Aether Foundation woman boss. Now once that was done, we made our way to Pony Island where our next trial awaited us. And that totem Pokemon was Komomo, the dragon and fighting type Pokemon. Now after toxic stalling Komomo and taking him down, we used Yawn to take down Noivern. And this led us to receive one of the last Z Crystals, Draganium Z. We are now one step closer to battling the Elite Four. But of course, once Nebby gets fused with Necrozma, we have to go and save him. So we hop into Ultra Space and we find Ultra Necrozma. And well, he was probably the hardest battle so far. Not only were my guys under-leveled, but he hit very hard. Now after realizing I was about 9 to 10 levels lower than this guy, I had to go out and grind my Pokemon's levels. And time again, after losing so many times against this Ultra Necrozma, I finally found something that worked. Now surprisingly, Pyukumuku was one of my favorite Pokemon to use during this run because it was so different compared to the other guys I'm using. He has no moves and just supporting. So it was really fun trying to use him to stall out different opponents and beat them. And that is exactly what we did against Ultra Necrozma because I toxic stalled him until he was dead. Now before we battle our next totem Pokemon trial, we have to battle Mina. And she was actually pretty easy. After that, we have to battle all the island bosses and get the flowers off of them. It took a while more to actually find them than to battle them, but in the end, we got every single one. And here we go, our totem battle against Ribombee. And this time around, we have Alolan Dugtrio to do a lot of damage against this fairy type Pokemon. So just in a couple of turns, we were able to take down Ribombee, and Alolan Dugtrio was able to do a lot of damage on Blissey. After that battle, we made our way to Alolan Exeggutor Island, where the Kahuna Hapu waited for us. And after beating her, we now complete our grand trial and one step closer towards the Elite Four. Well, here we are, right at the foot of the Elite Four, where Gladion has been waiting for us for a final battle. And honestly, this battle was one of the hardest battles with Gladion I had in a while. He gave us such a great fight right before the Elite Four. But in the end, obviously, we were the winners of this battle. And what really helps as well is Crabrawler finally evolves to Crabominable right before the Elite Four. Well, here we are at the Elite Four finally after so long. Now it is time to beat these last 4 trainers and become the first ever champion of Alola. Here we go, our first battle is against the Elite Four member, Olivia. Now I feel like we had the upper hand in this battle because our team was very well set against rock types. Alolan Dugtrio took out her first Pokemon, Armaldo. Crabominable then finished off Probopass. Geodude took out Gigalith and her ace Pokemon, Lycanroc. And to finish it off, Geodude was also able to take down her last Pokemon, Cradily. 1 down, 3 to go. It is now time to battle the flying type Elite Four member. Alright, here we go. We start off with Gumshoes to get the yawn off and make this bird go to sleep. Then we throw in Alolan Dugtrio to take down Bravery. Sadly, Crabominable was pretty much useless in this battle because Hawlucha just ended up one-shotting him with Flying Press. But that's why we have the legend of Pyukumuku, because he was able to take down Hawlucha using counter. Then with Mandibuzz, I was able to toxic stall him enough where he went down as well. Now what's awesome about Oricorio, Revelation Dance for some reason was super effective and took down Toucannon and also her Oricorio, and now that is 2 Elite Four members beaten. Here we go, time for our third battle against Acerola, the ghost type trainer. Now Gumshoes was able to use Crunch and take down Banette, but sadly got taken down from Forlas. Now Pyukumuku did put up a good fight, but he also went down. I started to get a little nervous because now one of my ace Pokemon is quickly defeated. But we had Alolan and Dugtrio take care of Furlast using Sucker Punch. Sadly, he did go down against Palossand. This battle was starting to get more intense and more closer than it should. But once Crabominable came in, things turned for the better, because not only was he able to take down Palossand, he was able to take down Dolomize, and finally able to take down her last Pokemon, Drifblim. There it is, we just beat the third Elite Four member, just one more to go and then we could battle the champion. Well, here we go, the last of the Elite Four members before we hit the champion. Now he started with Klefki and I started with Gumshoos. And for some reason, after one hit, he switches into Metagross. Now I quickly try to put Metagross to sleep using Yawn. Now thank God he does miss Hammer Arm, so it works in my favor. And over time, I just keep using Work Up to boost up my attack and finally take him down using Crunch. Now since I do have Quick Claw on Gumshoos, I was able to get a massive hit on Alolan Dugtrio and take him down. But sadly, Magnezone finally takes down Gumshoos, but he did take down 2 of his Pokemon. Now with Magnezone, it got a little bit tricky because even though I was able to do a lot of damage with Earthquake, he had Sturdy, which saved him. And on top of that, he used some full restores, which helped bring him back to full health, and it became a rinse and repeat type of cycle. But with a little bit of back and forth, finally Alolan Dugtrio was able to take down his Magnezone. On top of that, he was even fast enough to take and one-shot his Bisharp. And to put a cherry right on top of it, Alolan Dugtrio was able to take down Klefki and finally take down the last Elite Four member. All that is left now is the champion. We are this close to beating Alola. Honestly, I forgot who the champion was in this game. I remember it being Professor Kukui, but it's actually Hao. So it's time to beat this guy one last time and become champions. So to start things off, he throws out Alolan Raichu and I throw out Alolan Dugtrio. And in one shot, Alolan Raichu goes down. Now once his Vaporeon comes in, I switch into Pyukumuku so I could Toxic him. And luckily enough, we get Toxic on right away. Now down the line in the battle, I throw in Shiotnik to finish off Vaporeon once and for all. Now once he switches into Crabominable, I switch back to Alolan Dugtrio. Now he was this close to finishing him off, but in the end we lost Alolan Dugtrio. And that's okay because Oricorio was able to finish off Crabominable with no issue, even though he used a full restore. Next up was his Tauros, so I threw in my Crabominable to hopefully take him down. But life had other plans because we lost Crabominable instead. Now his Tauros used Double Edge and not only took himself out, but did a lot of damage on Oricorio. Now it's time to battle his ace Pokemon Decidueye. Now Oricorio gets a great hit off with Air Slash, but sadly dies in the process. Now once Gumshoos comes in, he uses a Z Crystal to one-shot him. Now this battle started off really well in our favor, but now it's starting to get a little bit scary. Lucky enough, when Shiotnik came in, he was able to take down Decidueye, and all that is left is his Noivern. But sadly, Shiotnik goes down very easily. And this is it, a 1v1 battle to become champions of Alola. It's funny how the last Pokemon I have is a Pokemon that solely relies on stalling and using counter. So I had to make sure to use Recover, Toxic, and Pain Split in the right order, or else I would lose this battle. And just in case he does have a physical move anywhere in his move pool, I was ready to use counter. Now we were so close at one point, but of course he uses a full restore. This is probably one of the most stressful champions battles I've had with this type of video that I'm doing. But in the end, we were able to use counter at the right moment and take Noivern down once and for all. And that is it. We have now become the champion of Alola. Well, that is it. We have now just beaten Pokemon Ultra Sun using the worst team possible. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about this run and what game shall I try next. This took so long to make, guys, so please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and like this video. It would really help me a lot to make better content like this. Also, join the Discord, guys. There's a lot of things going on there, so you don't miss a thing. A link is in the description down below. Thank you guys so much, and I hope to see you guys in the next Pokemon video.